everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel. Right, so last week we were talking about identity crisis, and this week will be a continuation of last week's topic. But before that, I think all of us must have come across identity crisis at some point in our life, because we're all people who move around. So we move from villages, we move to towns, we move to cities, and we move out of countries, right? And when we move out, we have to learn to adapt, and we have to uh, give ourselves some identity of where we are from and things like that. So I think it's pretty normal, right? Yes, so let's not talk so much about that part, because I am going to be sharing a few more like personal experiences based on this very topic. When this coronavirus broke out, there was a lot of labeling, and there was a lot of name calling and discrimination that happened, especially to people from northeastern region, which was very sad. Of course, there were people who were like thrown out of their rental houses. There were people who were not allowed to go to grocery shopping. They were asked for their identity and things like that, so which was so sad. But also I want you to remember that when I'm speaking here, I do not I do not pinpoint anyone in particular. I do not pinpoint any community or any state or anybody in particular. So I think sometimes as humans, it's our tendency to subconsciously speak in such a way that we are not aware that it might be hurtful for others, right? And I think this happens to us, and we happen to be also like speaking that way. So I think we should be more mindful. We should try and be a little bit more polite, even if we do not know, or if we have doubts about somebody, or where he or she is coming from, or even just anything about their cultures or their beliefs or anything like that, right? So it's always nice to be a little bit more polite, be a little bit more civilized in the way we ask and put across our question, so that the people do not get hurt, or do not get offended, right? This is so important, so let's keep in mind, this is for all of us, okay? So yeah, I moved here 2 years ago for my college, and I'm in my final year right now. So every day I would especially in my first year, I think I would usually take a metro ride to get to college, and a bus ride, and then auto ride. So it's like pretty far from where I live. And what happened was, like, I've experienced a lot of things, okay? But especially during this coronavirus breakout, there were like situations where I was called coronavirus myself, where I was, questioned whether I'm from China and things like that. And I think this was a little bit sensitive, especially when the coronavirus broke out, because there was a lot going on. People were like literally spitting on one of the northeastern girl, and things like that. So there were so many news, and it just broke my heart. But when I did experience that to me, like people calling me coronavirus, I was angry, of course, but then I was like, I had two choices there. I could be angry and talk back to them and fight with them, or I could be more civilized and just explain it to them. So I did the later. So I didn't know what to do. Okay, I was just so I just stood standstill, and I was like just I didn't know what to do. I was more or less like scared. I was also pissed, but then that thing happened, and the question about whether I'm from China, and that's why I wore a mask and everything. So for that question, I clearly explained to the person who asked me that in the metro, right? And he totally understood. So I think sometimes it's also the way we put the questions across, and the way we put our answers across to others, because we tend to like subconsciously hurt people with our words and with our way of asking things, when we tend to be a little like less impolite. So it's okay to ask them politely, like, would you please explain, or would you want to talk about this, sort of things like that. So this is just a suggestion for all of us that we can follow, okay? So yeah, I would like to tell you a lot of stories, because I think I am always like experiencing one thing or the other all the time. But one incident that had really, like shaped me, that had really like made me bolder was an incident that happened in my second year, and I was uh, doing my fieldwork in an NGO which was like about 6 kilometers away from my house. Okay, so what I do is every single Thursday and Friday morning I would go along with a friend, a classmate who would come pick me up, and we would go together. But that day, since like he wasn't gonna come because like he had some emergencies, so I had to take the metro ride myself, and I had to get auto from there, right from the metro station, because the metro doesn't reach to where I work. And I took that, and once I got off the metro station, I just sat on one of the autos and we were going along. And in about like I think 2-3 kilometers, I found out that the rate, the meter rates, which starts from like 25 rupees, started increasing, at a very very fast rate. Like from 25 it would reach to like 39, and then 40, 45, right? And I told uncle, stop, stop, stop. And I think he was a little bit, he doesn't really look like an uncle though. And I said, uncle, stop, stop, stop. And he stopped, and I questioned him about why his meter is this way, right? And I told him there must be some mistake, and he got angry, so he told me to get out of the auto ride. And I got out, and he started cursing so bad, and he started saying harsh things, and since I didn't know the language so much, but I think I communicated a little bit in Hindi as much as I could, because he wouldn't understand English, right? And I told him, and he told me he won't drop me again. So I gave him the amount, which was like 50 for that short amount of time, right? I gave him, I was supposed to give him 50, and I gave him 500 rupees, and I was waiting for my change, waiting near my on the roadside of a highway. And he told me, what are you waiting for, go. And I was like, uncle, my change. And he told me I didn't give him any change, okay? And he started lying, like just lied to me in front of my face, when I totally knew that I gave him the money, okay? And it was not even like a minute, and he could lie like that. Wow, he did really think so easy of me, man. That just pissed me off. And we quarreled, not really like quarreled. He said he didn't give me the money, and he denied it. And I told him I gave him the money, and I denied it. And we were like just bickering. And then at some point it got really heated, so I had to like scream for help, okay? So I said, anybody, can somebody help? And I was just asking for help in a highway, okay? And um no surprise at all, because nobody actually stopped even to question or to help, right? No wonder. And yeah, everybody's busy with their lives, nobody have time to help people in situations like this. And what happened was, I threatened him. I told him, uncle, I gave you, I clearly saw, because I had 500 rupee no, and I didn't like note, and I didn't have the change, so I gave it to you, uncle. And he still denied, okay? And I was like, I will complain you to the police. And he was like, go ahead and complain. And I told him, I'm taking your auto numbers and everything, and I'm completely gonna like go to the police. And he was like, go. And then he rode off, okay? He took a U-turn and rode off. And I was so devastated, so I went to the police station nearby, which was in a walkable distance, and I went there. But since I couldn't communicate in Canada, they didn't take me seriously, and they were not helping me at all to even file an FIR, okay? And like I narrated the incident, and like people in the police station were just like laughing, looking at each other and laughing. I was like, what is going on in the world? And then what happened was, I was totally like heartbroken at the time. I was sad, I was angry, and like I was wondering, why did this happen to me, okay? And after walking out of that police station where nobody helped me, I walked a few more steps away, and I found an auto, and I asked him to drop me to the NGO where I used to do my field work, and he dropped me. I was already like 30 minutes late for my field survey there, and but I did explain my situation, that I had these things going. when I told one of my classmates about it, um, who also worked with me along in the same NGO, so he told me he have a number of one of the police officer in his area and he could help. So he gave me the number, and um, we rang him up and I spoke to him. I told him what happened, where it happened, around what time it happened, and everything. And I even gave him the number of the auto as much as I can remember, because honestly I didn't take the like picture of it. Okay, I just remembered it because it was just there in my mind and I couldn't forget about it. And I know for sure that I won't forget his face also. So what happened, like they were, and he, the police officer whose name was Gautam sir, he helped me so much. He called from time to time, he gave updates from time to time, and they were trying to find a number of who the owner of that auto is, and they told me that that number didn't exist and things like that. And I was like so disturbed. I was like, I'm not gonna let this go when the police are like helping me so much. So once I went back home that evening, I went back to the metro station and I stood outside and I was just walking around to find out if that same auto was there, the same auto and the same guy in the morning, right? So when I went there, I did find the auto, but I didn't find the guy. And I did ask around to people like other auto drivers, and they told me that the auto has just been there since morning, and like there was the driver just is not here right now. And I took a picture and I just went and thoroughly looked at it, to make sure that that was the exact auto that I like rode in the morning, right? Just to make sure that there was no you know, wrong, I don't know, like implications or something from my part also. So I was scared of that, so I had to like do every double check and things like that. And I did send the picture again to Gautam sir. And so finally in the next day on Friday, I think I went back to the NGO and I got a phone call at around like I guess 10 or 11. They told me that they have found a number that I had sent from the picture, and they told me that they have found the address and everything through that number, and they are going and arresting him now. And they want me to come and report in the police station um, after my evening work that I have in the NGO. And I told them yes. So what happened was I was really nervous, okay, and I took half day off that day. I asked to my fieldwork coordinator and he granted leave for me and one my friend who helped me. So we sort of just went to the police station that day. No, I went back home, I changed, and me and my friend went to the police station to verify the person. And the person was actually the guy, the same guy, that took the money and left me the day before, the day before yesterday. And I was like, wow, I didn't know how to react, because I felt pity for him when I first saw him, because he was like, he looked super scared, like, and I think he was beaten up a little bit, and because he kept on denying the truth, right? And finally I had to wait until Gautam sir comes. I think he was a superintendent of that police station, and he was away for some meeting, and we had to wait because he also wanted us to wait and personally have a conversation with us, rather than other officers who could handle that matter. And I also like totally preferred having to talk to Gautam sir, and because he personally helped so much for this case, right? And once he came, I think we waited there for around 20 minutes, and he came, and they helped me, like some of the constables helped me file an FIR and everything after writing those letters and everything. So we were in the office, in the room of Gautam sir where his office was. He had a separate like cabin, and we went there. He called up that guy, and his constables like got him in the room, and they started questioning him. And so he did finally said the truth. He finally said the truth, and he said like and when Gautam sir asked him why he did what he did, what he said was like, I look different, and like and she looked different, like she didn't look like from this area. So I thought it was like okay to, you know, kind of like just fool her around and things like that. And also she didn't know the language, and like her, I don't know, her face wasn't like very familiar, and I thought she wouldn't know all about this, which is why I fooled her. Okay, so that guy finally did accept his mistakes, and uh, he was made to pay me back the remaining amount and things like that. So this was the incident that I wanted to share with you all, not in some way that, you know, like to sort of like put somebody to shame or anything, but I'm saying that, like, you know, at that point, if I didn't like stand up for myself, I knew that the other person will keep on doing this to somebody else. um, and it was time that he learns lesson. And from the previous record he have, I think he had also several other like police record that was being filed under him. So it was like good that I did actually go forward with my filing of an FIR and everything. So and then Gautam sir also told me to be careful next time around, especially if you're a girl and traveling alone. It's not safe anywhere, to be honest, whether you are in city or you are in village or you are abroad, anywhere, right? There is no place that is like 100% safe all the time. So the only thing we can do is take precautions, and I think he really said that very right. And he was also like very helpful, and I think my trust in the police had really like regained a new level of, you know, that faith in the police after what Gautam sir and his team did for me. You know, they actually did so much to just chase that person and to just bring him to the police station. And Gautam sir also told me that he'll be staying for a night or two in the jail as a punishment for now, you know. But he did have like several other cases, so they will be looked after. And that was my story. Tired listening to it. There were so many and I don't know what to feel when I do narrate this story to people, because I was like a little bit anxious to share about this. You know, I was like a little bit you know, taken aback by this very situation, and I had like honestly feared that, you know, I would be harmed in some way even after filing this complaint, because like the auto driver could possibly find me again, and who knows, the worst case scenario could happen. And so after that incident, believe it or not, I had to like sort of like always disguise myself wearing a scarf or things like that, and I had to like cover myself properly so that I am not identifiable by that person again, like just in case he wants to take revenge or things like that, right? Yeah, that's the story, man. Guys, I know it was pretty intense. Every time I speak about this, I don't know, something inside me like just kind of like stir up, okay, and it kind of bring back a lot of like sad times, I guess. Like I wasn't able to sleep for a really long time, at least for 1 week, and I used to have like really bad dreams about the same incidents playing over and over again, or like me meeting up the auto guy again or things like that. So like the whole thing, they were just like playing like a movie in my head, which was so bad. So for whoever is going through this kind of situation, or any situation for that matter, please take good care, and, you know, fight back as much as you can, because there are people out there, you know. So be careful and try and stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.